Hey everybody, this is Killer Arcade Games. I'm Chris, and today I thought I'd do a video on the top 5 most wanted games. I put this poll out on the official Arcade1Up Facebook group. I asked, what is the arcade cabinet you want the most from Arcade1Up? And it doesn't matter at all if it's totally unrealistic, if it's a game that they can't do or can't get the license for. I just wanted to see what people really want the most. The results actually surprised me quite a bit, so we're going to dive right into that now. I'm going to do the top 5 with a few honorable mentions. In the honorable mention department, we had the number 8 spot was Killer Instinct. I have to say I was very surprised this only made it to number 8. I hear lots of people asking, when is Killer Instinct going to be made? When is it going to be made? I don't know when it's going to be made or if it's going to be made, but somehow it only made it to the number 8 spot. I love this game. I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the video though. The 7th place game was WWF Superstars / WrestleFest. I've heard people request that one in the past, so I'm not too surprised that one's on there. I didn't expect it to be that far up the list, really. 6th place is no real surprise. I'm actually kind of surprised it wasn't higher up. You have to keep in mind, this group is full of a wide range of ages. There's older people, there's younger gamers in there, so this game's no surprise to me really. It's Donkey Kong Jr. I don't think it'll ever happen because of Nintendo, but I'm not here to crap all over people's dreams. It's kind of shocking it's not higher up. That game was huge back in the day, but it made it in at 6th place. Okay, so now we're going to get to the top 5 most wanted Arcade1Up cabinets according to the Arcade1Up Facebook group. Number 5 is the 1982 classic game Tron, made after the movie Tron, and it was released by Bally Midway. It looks like a really cool cabinet. I would like to see Arcade1Up make this. I personally never played the game. The game came out a year before I was even born, so I don't even know if I've seen the movie, which is probably going to upset some people. You can yell at me in the comments if you'd like. But I don't think I've ever played this game. I do like the look of the cabinet, though I think it would make a really good Arcade1Up. I think it would make a flashy Arcade1Up cabinet, meaning the average person walking by would say, wow, I don't really know much about this, but it looks cool. I wouldn't mind having it in the house. So I'm actually kind of surprised it was number 5. I really thought games like Donkey Kong, Killer Instinct would be ahead of it, but that's what the people voted for, and that's what it ended up being. So good on Tron. Apparently people want that. Arcade1Up, I don't know if you're listening or not, but you might want to take note. Number 4 is actually the classic light gun game by Sega. It released in 1997. It is House of the Dead. This one is an arcade staple. If you were playing in any arcade in the 90s, even sometimes nowadays, you're gonna find a House of the Dead cabinet. They released House of the Dead 1, 2, and 3. I believe House of the Dead 4 is even in arcades nowadays. I personally would love it if Arcade1Up would do this. I love light gun games anyway. They're a ton of fun. You get to blast zombies. There's some really awkward and weird voice acting, probably because it was translated from Japanese to American, and I think they probably used maybe Japanese actors who could speak English to re-record the lines. So it has some really funny, kind of goofy acting in it, but it's still a classic game. I think it'd be really cool if this game releases. Arcade1Up is already dipping their toes into the light gun game with Big Buck Hunter. It's not unlikely that we're going to see more shooter cabinets down the line. I don't know if we'll see House of the Dead simply because the emulation is very difficult for that one. So we'll see what happens. It could happen down the line for all we know. The number 3 spot is actually taken by a Sega classic game too. It is the 1994 release of Daytona USA. I think we can all remember, if you were alive during this time, going into an arcade and hearing that Daytona USA theme song. That will be stuck in my head forever, probably. I worked in an arcade that had a Daytona USA. I would hear that thing running like crazy, and to be honest, it kind of drove me nuts after a while, but it's really an iconic theme song, and it drew so many people in. That game was a classic. Once again, emulation is a little difficult on it. It's not that hard, it's not impossible. So that may be something we see down the line. I know that it's hugely wanted. I was not surprised to see it make it into the top 5. But the number 3 spot definitely goes to Daytona USA. The number 2 spot actually goes to a Konami classic from 1991, themed after a hugely popular TV series. I believe it's the longest running cartoon series in existence, The Simpsons. They actually did a really good job making the attract mode look and sound like the actual TV show. I thought that was really cool. You'd always hear that playing in arcades. The blue cabinet looks really nice. It's always a 4-player. I don't think I've ever seen it in anything but a 4-player configuration. Maybe it exists in 2-player, but I would always see that iconic 4-player Simpsons cabinet. I still see it to this day. You go into barcades, if they can get their hands on a Simpsons, they usually put it in there because it is hugely popular. It's no surprise it made it to the number 2 spot. Tech-wise, Arcade1Up could emulate this game no problem. I guess the biggest problem could be getting the license from Fox or whoever owns The Simpsons. Now that I think about it, I don't know who actually owns The Simpsons license, but I think it would be a huge hit if they release this game. Now, I'm certain Arcade1Up knows this. I'm sure they've already looked into it, so it could be coming for all we know. Maybe next year. Who knows? And moving on to the number 1 spot, this one actually really surprised me. I thought it would be in the top 5. I did not think it would be the number 1 spot, but it is the 1997 classic NFL Blitz. I actually have one of these because I made one of these because I love the game so much that I had to make one. I mean, I'm not a big sports fan. I don't watch much football when it's on TV, but NFL Blitz was a huge part of my childhood. I mainly played the console versions because it was always pretty expensive to play it in the arcade. You have to pump out, at least 8 tokens usually to play a full game. And this game is highly frustrating at times. The AI cheats right and left. You didn't want to waste your money if you knew you were just going to lose. Once I figured out how to mod Arcade1Ups, this one was definitely on my list. It was the last or the latest mod I've done so far, but I think it came out the best. I love this cabinet. Now, once again, we're going off no limitations, just what you want the most, but I have to say I don't know if the NFL will ever sign off on this game coming out, and it takes a lot of power to emulate. NFL Blitz is apparently a highly wanted cabinet. They did just release NBA Jam, which is great for people's home bars and all that, but I think if they could get NFL Blitz out, I think people would really love that over even NBA Jam, just because can you imagine having this in your home bar? Your friends are there watching football. The halftime show comes on for the Super Bowl. Maybe you don't care who's playing, and everybody crowds around the NFL Blitz machine to have a good time. I think this is an amazing game to play with friends. Midway really nailed it here. It's just a fun game. If Arcade1Up could somehow get all 3 of these Blitz games into a cabinet and get it out the door, I think people would buy this in huge numbers. Let's hope they can make it happen sometime, maybe in the future. 5 to 10 years. My theory is the NFL is not going to want to be associated with any more controversy than they already are. This game is highly violent. It actually encourages you to be violent and smash the other players. I mean, you're doing late hits, you're knocking helmets off, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. So that's all. That's the list. It's technically the top 8 games that were voted on, but I mainly focused on the top 5 as far as some details go. I have to say once again, I'm still surprised Killer Instinct was the number 8 spot, but that's perfectly fine. I don't care personally because I already have a Killer Instinct cabinet, and I think that's one of the best things about Arcade1Up. It doesn't really matter what they release. If you put a little bit of time and effort into it, you can make it into the game you want. As you saw, I made an NFL Blitz cabinet. It was really not that difficult. This was my first ever mod, Killer Instinct. I made it in probably late 2018. It was probably one of the first ones ever to be made. I know one other guy made one that was actually done right around the same time mine was. He probably beat me out to it a little bit, but I was very proud of this one. I liked it so much that this is actually what started this channel. I made a video about the cabinet that I was working on. I didn't really think anybody would care that much, but people cared a whole lot, and here I am doing a whole YouTube channel now because of this one cabinet. You can definitely make your own cabinet, and if you're not sure how to do it or you feel like you don't know how to even start it, please check the description. I have a video that I made that's over an hour long. I know it's a little long, but it's very detailed. It'll help you through all the steps, even if you're a noob. Now, I know that this has actually worked for people because I've seen the finished product. I've seen Killer Instincts be made. I've seen Blitz cabinets made. I've seen all kinds of different cabinets made using my videos, which is extremely satisfying for me. I love that people are actually making something they wanted that they didn't think they could do before, so it's great to know that I was helpful. If you want to try that out, please check the description. There's a link for it in there. But until next time, I'd like to actually hear what you guys want. What are your top 5 games that you want Arcade1Up to make? Leave them in the comments. If I get enough replies, I might be able to take your requests, compile them all together with a little bit of time, and maybe make another top 5 most wanted videos from my own comment section. So if you're new to the channel, please consider leaving a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I try to make videos at least once a week. I do live streams on the weekends playing these cabinets, so hopefully you guys enjoy the channel. There's plenty of content to go back and look through. I've got a good couple, wow, we're almost at a full 2 years of content now on the channel. So please go back and have a look at it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.